Hello again, everyone. Zack Attack is here with my TNA Impact Wrestling review for tonight, January the 10th, 2013. Of course, the final Impact before the pay-per-view known as Genesis taking place this Sunday. My thoughts on this Impact tonight was okay, and some okay things, some stupid things tonight, and even, yes, a proposal. Before we get to all that shenanigans, let's kick off tonight's Impact, the last one before the pay-per-view, as I mentioned, which was, like I said, it was okay Impact tonight with some decent things, some shitty things. But it's TNA, what to expect. We kick off with Sting and some more good angle kicking it off. Of course, hungry for more revenge after what happened last week. Ending last week's Impact was, of course, a steel cage match. Steel cage tag involving two members of Ace and Eight, taking on Kurt Angle and Joe. Well, it was basically a handicap match for the first half of Angle being locked out of it. Then Angle getting back in after being locked up, like I said, by Doc. Sting came back, of course, coming out with a vengeance. And Kurt Angle said he was going to unmask everybody else that wasn't unmasked yet. And one of them was unmasked, yes, Mike Knox. The man known as Mike Knox, formerly of WWE, got unmasked last week. They were on the ring, Angle, Sting, and Joe, vowing about getting their hands on Ace and Eights last week and wanting more. They had their appetite fed just for that evening last week, but they wanted more. But till then, Angle wants to ask a question to a man who they don't know what side is he on. What side of the fence he's playing for, of course. Mr. Anderson. Of course, Mr. Anderson has been apparently trying to click with Ace and Eight after Ace and Eight offer him a spot. It seems like Anderson is in, but he hasn't really verbally said he's in or not. He's been hanging out with Ace and Eight a lot. Saw that last week, saw it again this week, but Anderson came out after being called out by Angle. When Angle said, "Come on, Anderson, what side are you on?" Angle's like, "Everyone's standing up for one another, but where were you when I was getting attacked by Ace and Eight?" Of course, that was a few months ago when Sting asked Mr. Anderson to team up with him in a tag match for Battle for Glory against Ace and Eights, but Anderson was taken out just as that announcement happened, and that's when Bully Ray was made the announcement replacement for Anderson. Well, that whole Sting Bully Ray thing would come back into play later on in the evening, so remember in the back of your mind about Anderson being taken out and then Bully Ray teaming up with Sting in that match of Bound for Glory. You would find out why I explained that with Sting and Bully later on in the evening. But back to our situation. Anderson saying, "Where were you? Where I was getting attacked," and blah, 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 blah. And Angle says, "Simple, Anderson. You're not with us. You're going to fight. You're with us. It's okay." And then Anderson said he didn't like you. He didn't like Angle anyway. That's what Anderson said. And then Angle said feelings mutual. Boom. Both of them got it on at that moment. And it set the pace for a main event match for that evening. Mr. Anderson against Kurt Angle. The match was made for later on in the evening. Of course, the beatdown that both of them had on each other was hopefully going to be only a taste of what would happen in the main event. And as I said many times before, when there's one member of Ace and Eights around, well, one potential member of Ace and Eights around, you can expect the others to be around. So we would find out sooner or later that would ring true. Later on in the evening is a main event matchup. Angle Anderson. Now on with our first match of the evening. Continuing the X Division tournament. It was Zima Iron taking on Kenny King. Of course, the winner would take on Christian York, who won his match last week against Kid Cash this Sunday at Genesis. And the winner of that match will take on RVD that night at Genesis for the X Division Championship. In this match, for an opening matchup, pretty good matchup, pretty back and forth action, pretty decent spots. It was X Division guys. And with the new strategy of TNA going only 4 major pay-per-views, and then the rest will be filler pay-per-views, not just the sacrifice and all that. Focusing more on Slammiversary, Spot for Glory, Lockdown, and of course Genesis Sunday. Just those 4. Then the rest will be one night only pay-per-views, themed pay-per-views. Like one of them will be X Division themed. But anyway, with that out of the way, maybe give X Division more spotlight. And it was a decent up and up and at a matchup. And I predicted it last week, and I was right. Kenny King did get the victory despite both egos. Zima and King having big egos. Kenny's ego rolls above Zima's, as of course King got the Royal Flush, his finisher, for the victory. That means Kenny King in a decent matchup, very action-packed matchup between Zima Iron. We'll now face off against Christian York this Sunday in the finals of the X Division tournament, and of course the winner of that match will take on RVD for the title that same night at Genesis. On to our next match, which was a mixed tag matchup. It involved Robbie T teaming up with Miss Taskmaster in a mixed tag against Tara and Jesse, of course, stemming from the brawl-off that happened a few weeks ago with Jesse taking on Robbie E, but then Robbie T stole the show. Well, apparently Robbie T stealing the show, and I smell a possible face turn for Robbie T. In other words, Robbie T breaking off from Robbie E. You can tell more tension was set between them in this okay mixed tag match. Robbie T dominated early on, beating the crap out of Jesse. Then the knockouts got on for a little bit. Tara got on with Taskmaster. But then, of course, Robbie T came back in, destroyed Jesse, and powered it, kicked his ass enough in a 1-2-3. Quick matchup, just okay. It's just quick matchup. After the match, Aries did a little dance, kind of a dirty dancing type dance with Taskmaster, with Robbie E. Pissed again that Robbie T stole the show from Robbie E yet again. And like I said, there's probably tension between them two. So I'm guessing Robbie E and T will probably be breaking up. That the bros before holes. Well, Robbie E may be losing Robbie T because of the holes in Robbie T's life. You know what I meant. So Robbie E and T could be breaking up soon. So there you go. Robbie T and Taskmaster, the victory. Of course, they were trying to find a partner. Taskmaster came in last minute. So, like I said, Robbie T could be turning face. Breaking up with Robbie E. Alright. On our next match, which was the gut check matchup. Now, TNA's trying to web things up a bit. Of course, I mentioned on the attack line in just a few minutes ago, TNA's changing their pay-per-view strategy, focusing on the 4 main pay-per-views, Genesis, Slammiversary, Lockdown, and Bound for Glory, and having 7 additional pay-per-views be themed one-night-only events, pre-taped. And they also changed up Gut Check tonight. Instead of just one Gut Check guy taking on an accomplished TNA Impact Zone guy in a squasher, there will be two Gut Check guys are going up against each other tonight. And of course, one contract will be given to one of these two guys. And of course, the two guys fighting for the opportunity for the contract was Jay Bradley and Brian Cage. Now, Bradley was playing the heel, Brian Cage playing the face. And Jay Bradley apparently had some WWE relationship, but I don't know. Anyway, it was an okay matchup. Both guys showed potential. You know, Brian Cage was playing a babyface guy, and some decent moves from both guys. And Bradley ducked a clothesline from Cage, delivered his lariat, his big finishing clothesline, and a 1-2-3 victory for Jay Bradley in a decent one-on-one matchup in the Gut Check. It doesn't matter win or lose. Both guys will be evaluated by the judges. Of course, Al Snow, if he makes it this time, after seeing the last Gut Check, finally didn't make it. Bruce Pritchard, a.k.a. Brother Love, and of course Taz. All 3 judges will evaluate both guys. They will pick one of those 2 guys to get the contract from TNA. And I like both guys in this situation. Bradley played the heel pretty well in Cage. They both got potential, so it doesn't matter who wins the contract. But there you go. Bradley wins the match, but does he win the contract? We'll find out soon enough next week. Now, we had a little backstage segment involving Ace and Ace having a little party. Anderson screamed at him. Time for having a party. It is a serious business, and you take care of business. Of course, they were focusing on the guy known as Mike Knox, who lost his mask. He needs to earn a spot tonight after losing his match. He has to make it right, or he is out of the picture. So then we're on to our next segment. I haven't been focusing on this ongoing storyline because it's stupid. Joseph Park has been training in OVW to become a wrestler because Hogan didn't want Joseph Park to wrestle without proper wrestling training, blah, 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 blah. So Joseph Park's been going to OVW, and now he's back from OVW after failing the first couple weeks. Now he's been showing improvement, but I say the storyline's stupid. That's why I've been talking about it. It's aired every week. But it's come to the combination of Joseph Park coming tonight, vowing to Hulk Hogan that yes, he has trained, he's ready to finally wrestle 8 in a proper matchup. And despite Hogan's hesitation, he wants to shut Park up once and for all. And he'll give Parks whatever he wants. So Joseph Parks will fight this Sunday against Doc at Genesis, one of many matches added to the pay-per-view. Now, of course, as Hulk Hogan settled his problems with Joseph Park, he has one other problem to settle. His ongoing storyline with Brooke Hogan, his daughter, and of course his whole Bully Ray thing. Last week, Bully Ray admitted that yes, he does have an affair with Brooke, and he should have came clean about it earlier with Hulk. And Hulk, in fits of rage, suspended Bully, and Bully Ray's suspension was still upheld by Hogan despite Brooke trying to come out in public once again, like Hogan wants to do everything. Hulk wants to do everything in public. Brooke tried to plead a case on trying to get Bully back in the TNA roster, trying to get him off suspension, and Hulk wouldn't have it. Hogan said the suspension is still suspended, that Bully's still suspended. But of course, we would see later on in the evening that Bully Ray does eventually get back in the Impact Zone. We would see all that unfold in a surprisingly, shockingly weird last segment of Impact tonight. Now, on with our next matchup, which was a tag team affair, as Jeff Hardy teamed up with James Storm against Bobby Roode and Austin Aries. Of course, three of the men, Hardy, Aries, and Roode, being involved in triple threat at the Genesis pay-per-view, triple threat for the TNA title this Sunday. In the beginning, Hardy and Storm were on the advantage, putting on good teamwork, while Aries and Roode's egos seemed to get the best of them. But of course, later on, Hardy was getting the crap beat out of as Aries and Roode were at least trying to get along, as they were both weakening Hardy with one goal in mind, as a team, weaken Hardy in this tag match, and then have a weak Hardy at the pay-per-view, and then every man for himself to get the bout on Sunday. But of course, as Aries and Roode was weakening Hardy enough, beating the crap out of him, tagging in and out, Roode was ready for the finish. But it came up the top rope, Hardy jumped out, and Roode missed the big splash, and Roode was trying to block Hardy from tagging in Storm, but when Storm came in like a house of fire, dominating the matchup. But indeed, as Storm delivered his closing call move, it was ready to deliver the last call super kick to Roode. Here comes Kazarian and Daniels, Team Bad Influence, coming in, distracting referee and beating the crap out of Storm, but Hardy came back, beat the crap out of both of them. Of course, they had a little feud going on. Daniels will take on Storm this Sunday, but as referee got distracted with them, Hardy came back in the ring, ready to deliver a twist of fate on the Roode, and as ready to deliver another twist of fate to Roode. Aries, who inadvertently hit Roode earlier, did hit Hardy with the belt, with both TNA belts, and caused disqualification with Hardy and Storm winning by DQ after Aries used the belt. So Aries and Roode double teamed the crap out of Hardy after the matchup, with both belts in hand, and at the end of the beatdown, Aries and Roode both held the TNA title in their hands, having a little tug of war about which one is going to get it Sunday. I'm going to be the champion. No, I'm going to be the champion. Who will be the champion after the TNA pay-per-view known as Genesis? We will all find out this Sunday at Genesis in the triple threat between Hardy, Roode, and Aries. Of course, every man for themselves this Sunday. I expect Aries and Roode may get along for a while and weaken Hardy, but then there'll be one-on-one with them after they take care of Hardy, but we'll see what happens there. Now, on with the next matchup, which was supposed to be our main event, which was Ken Anderson, Mr. Anderson, taking on Kurt Angle. Both men were in the ring. Angle was talking about Anderson being a bitch, becoming a bitch, as Anderson was taking his precious time. And as Angle was talking about Anderson being a bitch about lying in some Ace and H, not knowing what side he's playing on, Mike Knox came from the back, nailed Angle with the bullhammer, nailing him in the back of the neck area, weakening Angle, causing the Ken Anderson Angle match to become obsolete, cancelled, done, it ain't happening. But as Mike Knox and the rest of H&H hobbled around Kurt Angle after beating him down, Joe and Garrett Bischoff and even Wes Briscoe came out to try to help Angle. Even Sting came out. And Sting said, we ain't going to go out like that. We're not going to have a stupid no main event. I'm going to challenge this Knox guy. So here we go. The new main event is now Sting against Mike Knox with Ace and Eight, all of them, going to the back. And it was just one-on-one, Sting and Knox. I think it was the first Ace and Eight match I saw that actually had a clean finish tonight with no interference from Ace and Eight at all. Sting got the early advantage, but of course Knox got the beat down on Sting. Beat the crap out of Sting for a little bit. But then after the beat down on Sting, Sting made the comeback. Got the Stinger Splash, Scorpion Death Drop. And after that, 1, 2, 3, victory for Sting. In a quick match, it was okay main event. It was a short main event. It was a decent one, but at least it amps up the whole 8 storyline with Sting and all that. That Sting was celebrating his victory over Mike Knox. Ace and Eight came back out with Brooke Hogan in hand, saying, Sting, you move any closer, we're going to beat the crap out of Brooke. And as Sting was resisting the move to not have Ace and Eight on Brooke, here comes, as I mentioned, Bully Ray coming out of his suspension, still suspended after all. He comes out, beats the crap out of Ace and Eight, clears the ring of him, clears him to the back, saves Brooke, and at that moment, here comes Hogan. Hulk Hogan came back out to confront Bully Ray in the situation. Of course, Hulk Hogan is freaking out about Brooke being put in harm's way yet again because of Bully Ray. Doesn't trust him still. Left the man for his daughter, blah, 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 blah. Sting tries to get into it because, of course, like I mentioned, Sting teamed up with Bully Ray, which started his whole Hogan-Bully Ray storyline to begin with, when Bully Ray was chosen over Mr. Anderson at Bound for Glory in the tag match against Ace and Eight. That's why Sting tried to get involved, trying to save Bully Ray, but of course, Hogan wouldn't have any of it, even with Sting. Of course, Bully Ray made his whole speech about, you don't trust me, huh, Hogan? I love wrestling all these years. Wrestling's my life. But then this chick, Brooke, came into my life. And I love her as much as I love wrestling. And I want to show her my love. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, there was a proposal tonight. Yes, Bully Ray proposed to Brooke tonight. Storyline-wise, I don't think they're really actually getting married. But anyway, enhancing the storyline, Bully Ray proposed to Brooke. Brooke said yes. The wedding's next week. Of course, yeah, Bully Ray said he was going to marry Brooke next week. Of course, the Impact at the Genesis, Bully Ray gets married to Brooke. Of course, Hulk's not too happy about it. As Hogan left the ring, Hulk left the ring angry and frustrated as Bully Ray and Brooke hug happily with their engagement in the wedding next week on Impact as we go out of Impact tonight. So there you go. We got a feud between Hardy and Aries and Wood heating up. Ace and Eight feud heating up. And of course now, Hulk Hogan's now mad as hell as Bully Ray is about to marry Brooke. I smell something going wrong in this. I know TNA did have a wedding once. I think they had like 2 weddings. They had the ruined wedding with Jay Lethal and SoCal Val a few years back. And of course, ODB and Eric Young wedding, which ran off without a hitch. But I smell something will happen during this Brooke Hogan Bully Ray wedding. And I smell Hulk Hogan will get involved. Whether it be Hulk Hogan putting his trust in Bully Ray or not, blah, 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 blah. We'll see. What will Hulk Hogan do about this impending wedding with Bully Ray and Hulk Hogan's daughter, Brooke, next week on Impact? And we're on to the Sunday Genesis. We got Hardy, Aries and Rude, triple threat. Sting takes on somebody. I know Mr. Joseph Park's going to fight Doc of Ace and Eight. We get the tag team titles on the line with Hernandez and Chavo taking on Morgan and Joey Ryan. And we got a new match added tonight to the pay-per-view besides Joseph Punk against Doc. And Knockout's Gauntlet for the number one contendership for the TNA Knockouts Championship. I think ODB's in it. So will be Velvet. I think Gail's in it. Tazmaka's in it. And I forgot who else is in that Gauntlet for Genesis this Sunday. So there you go. Genesis Sunday. It was okay Impact tonight. Some bad things, some shitty things. But of course, we ended with Brooke and Bully engaged. Ready next week. That is it for the TNA Impact review for tonight. See you all later. With that in mind, you've all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you, everybody. See you later. Thank you for watching. Yeah, yeah.